Howdy VC, Brian here, Shamrock'n Records, here today to congratulate Andy's Vinyl Den on your 200 subs. Congratulations, man. That is awesome. For any of you guys that don't know Andy, he just hit his 200 subs. He's doing a contest. He would like for us to pick our 10 perfect records. They don't necessarily need to be our favorite records, which many of them might be, but he just wants us to pick out 10 perfect records, which means they shouldn't have any songs that you skip over or you feel are flawed. Just something that you want to listen to every single track when you play it. And I don't know what my whole background is today. These are not my 10 perfect records. Well, there's more than 10. But a bunch of these records could be on my perfect record list because there's some really kick-ass records behind me. But I don't know, I did this black dramatic theme. So, whatever. I don't know where I'm going with that. But we are listening to Fishbone, Truth and Soul right now. So, getting a little funky in here. And I'm going to start off with my top 10. They are in no order. Hopefully, I have not seen a ton of these entries yet. I have the day off today, so I'm hoping that I can check out some more. I probably should do that before I show, because I really don't want to have too many doubles, and then it's just a waste of your time and Andy's time. But you know, when you're talking about a perfect record, you're shrinking down records. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of records that are duplicates, but I'm trying to show a few things that I think are perfect that aren't going to get duplicated. So again, Andy, cheers, congratulations. I hope you dig these. So let me get this out of my hand. My first record that I would like to choose today is a country record, and it's Lyle Lovett's Pontiac. This record, I believe, came out in 1987. It's his second record, and I remember the first time I heard this record, I was on vacation in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, and a buddy of mine popped this on the CD player that we had with us. This was probably like 10 years ago, and he popped it on. I was unfamiliar with this record. I was pretty unfamiliar with Lyle Lovett altogether, and he played it, and it blew my mind. You know, that we're at the beach, so the very first song that comes on this record is called "If I Had a Boat," which is absolutely insane. And it's great when you're at the beach. So I mean, come on. But every song on this record kicks ass. She's No Lady. She's Hot to Go. Money, If I Had a Boat, Give Back My Heart, everything. The thing that I loved about this record the most is that at the time I didn't really think I was into straight up country artists. I'm more of like an alt country singer-songwriter guy, and not knowing Lyle Lovett and always hearing that he's country, I always kind of thought he'd be more of that like pop country, I guess. I don't know. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just not my thing so much. So when I heard this record, there's blues and other elements to Lyle Lovett's music that is just not strictly country. I wouldn't even really consider him a straight up country artist. I mean, he kind of rocks, he blues, he goes jazz. You know, he's got the big band, not on this record, but on his other stuff. But anyway, that's my number one record. My second record that I want to show for my 10 Perfect, Weezer, the Blue Album. This record has been with me since high school. Not this particular copy, obviously. I had the CD in high school. And from the first track, My Name is Jonas, just hits you. I mean, every single song on this record is incredible. They're all really catchy. I never ever want to skip. You can't just play one song on this. You can't, you know, like. And when I just recently picked this back up on vinyl, I was playing it and I was like, holy shit! I can't believe how incredible this record is and how it has withstood the test of time. And I'll never get tired of this record. I love it. I don't have a favorite song on it. I think they're all incredible. I really do. But yeah, Weezer, Blue Album. You guys all know it. I'm gonna go a little bit older on this next one, a little bit funkier. And this is a record that my mom and dad always would, play in their house non-stop. And that's pretty much how I learned a lot about music, is through my mom and dad. They play, you know, their tastes were all over the place. Country, soul, folk, rock, metal, not so much pop, but they're all over the place. And this was something that was non-stop being played in my house every weekend. Well, maybe not every weekend, but a lot of weekends my mom and dad would have parties, and my aunts and uncles would come over, and they'd all be drinking and partying, and this record, without fail, came on. So I grew up with this every freaking nonstop. It's insane. Tower of Power, self-titled. You don't get a better first track on a record than What Is Hip. If you can't move to What Is Hip with those horns and that funkiness, and then it goes into Clever Girl, it just slows down, it gets so smooth. Like, these guys are smooth, they're upbeat, they're funky, they rule. This is a perfect record. I play this all the time, and it's been a staple of mine since I was a wee little boy. So, speaking of being a wee little boy, when I was in 4th grade, this next perfect record came out. And this record pretty much introduced me to topics that I shouldn't have known as a 4th grader. The language, the things that they talked about. Total, complete badass boys from New York. The Beastie Boys! Yeah, man. I actually just scored this copy. Check out the gatefold. That rules. Look at Ad Rock in the middle. He's the freaking man. But no, I actually just picked this up this weekend. I've been looking for an original. 86. Like I said, I was in 4th grade when this came out, and every song on this record kicks ass. It's perfect. This is my rap album, my hip hop album, whatever you want to freaking call it. I needed one on here. This is it. Love these guys. I'm bummed that I never got to see MCA. Never got to see the Beastie Boys live, which bums me out because they freaking rule. Yeah, Beastie Boys. Let's see, next one. That was number 4. My number 5. I'm gonna slow it down a little bit. I'm gonna go to one of my female artists, and I'm gonna go with Patty Griffin, 1,000 Kisses. This record, I hate this glare, man. It's crazy. Gorgeous. Patty Griffin is from Maine. This was released in 2002. Yep. And they actually just released it on vinyl last year, which I was so pumped that this finally came out on vinyl. But I first heard about this record. You know, she's a singer-songwriter, acoustic, absolutely gorgeous voice. Of all of her records, I think this is by far the prettiest. Starts off with a beautiful song called Rain. Chief. Stolen Car is Bruce Springsteen's Stolen Car. She does it. She didn't steal Bruce Springsteen's Stolen Car. It's a cover. You never know. She could be out stealing cars in Jersey somewhere, but you never know. But no, Making Pies is my favorite song on here, followed by Chief and Rain. But it's absolutely beautiful. I first heard about this record. I was reading an article in American Songwriter magazine, and they were talking about like the greatest folk records, like of all time, and they put this up there with like Woody Guthrie and Bob Dylan, and I was like, what? I was like, I've always heard the name Patty Griffin, but I never checked it out. So I went online and listened to a couple tracks and went out and bought that CD like immediately. And then as soon as this came out on vinyl, I needed it. It's absolutely perfect. Let's see, my number 6. Elvis Costello, the King of America. This record is actually the record that got me into Elvis Costello. I have not been a huge Elvis Costello fan for long. I got into this probably about 5 years ago, and I was very late to the party, and I'm glad that my friend introduced this to me. This record is not like his earlier stuff. It's not like new wave. It's not punk. It's singer-songwriter. It's acoustic. It's perfect. My favorite song on here is called Little Palaces. It's a very Celtic sounding song, and that's the one that just blew me away when I heard this. When my buddy played that and I heard that one particular song, that was the one that really caught my ear. Obviously I knew Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood because I'm a huge Animals fan, so I knew that. But Brilliant Mistake, wow, that's a really great song to lead off the record. One of my favorite singer-songwriters, Rhett Miller from the old 97s, actually covers Brilliant Mistake on his Live from Largo record. So, Elvis Costello, King of America, that was number 6. Going to a newer record. This one came out in 2009. They're kind of in like the punk. They're kind of considered punk. They're not really. They're from New Jersey. Gaslight Anthem, the 59 sound. Working class rock, I guess. Brian Fallon, the lead singer, is very inspired by Bruce Springsteen. He sounds similar to Bruce Springsteen. I'm sure people are going to say they're a Bruce Springsteen ripoff band. You know, I know I have a friend that hates them because he's such a big Bruce Springsteen fan. But man, these guys, I love their lyrics. I love the sound. It's gritty. It's punk. It is like Bruce Springsteen. If you're unfamiliar with the Gaslight Anthem and you like Bruce Springsteen, at least give this a shot. It blew me away. When this came out in 2009. It was like the only thing I wanted to listen to. It was this, and I was listening to the Hold Steadies. What record was that? The one was sequestered in Memphis. I can't think of the name of it right now. But that's all. When this came out, this and the Hold Steady were like the Stay Positive by the Hold Steady. That's all I was listening to. I couldn't get enough of these two records. Absolutely perfect. I love every track on it. Like I said, if you like Bruce Springsteen and you haven't heard this, it's awesome. It's on Side 1 Dummy. Ted Hutt produced this. Ted Hutt, I think, pretty much anything Ted Hutt touches, to me, is gold. Ted Hutt has done stuff with Flogging Molly, The Bouncing Souls. He even produced one of the newer Old Pro Medicine Show records. So check that record out. I'm kicking my table here. What's wrong with me? I'm almost through. I'm gonna get this going. Let's see here. What would one of my videos be without Van Morrison? So at number 8, I got Van Morrison, his band in the street choir. This is not my favorite Van Morrison record, but it rivals for number 1. I'm a big Moondance fan. I mean, I'm a huge Van Morrison fan. So his band in the street choir was my dad's, or is my dad's favorite Van Morrison record. So growing up in their house, this was on nonstop. My mom's favorite band was Tupelo, or is. They're not dead. I just don't live with them anymore because I'm an old man. But Tupelo Honey was my mom's. I kind of was the Moondance guy, and in my house. But it's not Moondance, but it's still perfect. I mean, it leads with Domino. It's got that funk. It slows down. It's got some nice ballads. My favorite song on here is probably I've Been Working, which is wicked funky, upbeat. And actually, when I saw Van Morrison live, that's what he opened up with. I saw him in Boston with Solomon Burke years ago, and he opened with I've Been Working, and it was mind blowing. Love Van. My number 9 perfect record. What do you say? Come on. Queen, Night at the Opera. You could pick a lot of different Queen records. I love Jazz, Sheer Heart Attack. But Night at the Opera is someone that really sits on an island, I guess, by itself. I just think this one is completely top to bottom perfect. I mean, regardless of, Bohemian Rhapsody and You're My Best Friend, your big hits on here. My favorite songs on here are 39 and Seaside Rendezvous. Every track, but 39 and Seaside Rendezvous do it for me. Love this record. I've loved it since I was in high school when they had their big comeback with Bohemian Rhapsody when it was in the Wayne's World movie. So that kind of got all the all the kids that were like my age at that time, in the 90s, really into Queen, you know. So my last perfect record, and I saved this one specifically for last because I know you guys are gonna hate it, and he gets no love on the VC, and I'm gonna change that. I hope, because this guy, as much as people hate his fans and they hate his cheesy songs, has some fantastic records. I'm a big fan of most of his stuff anyway, but Jimmy Buffett, A1A, his freaking record is perfect. It's my favorite summertime record. I'll listen to it all year round, but there is not a bad track on this record. There's no. I know a lot of people don't like him because of the fans. Like they tell, oh, I just hate the fans, so I can't get behind him, or I hate his cheesy cheeseburger in paradise or Margaritaville. And but you know what? This doesn't have any of those songs on it, and it's a great just singer songwriter chilling on a summer day, drinking a Corona and just relaxing at the beach or relaxing in your backyard. You know, you sitting in a rocking chair with an iced tea or whatever you're drinking, and you pop this on, and it's heaven. The songs are just Tin Cup Chalice is by far my favorite Buffett song. It's one of my favorite songs by any artist. Trying to Reason with the Hurricane Season. A Pirate Looks at 40 is one of his bigger hits that, you know, the average person would know A Pirate Looks at 40. But man, I just love this record. I told you guys I live in Maine, and so I'm not far from the ocean. And I go down there and I put that on my iPod and I walk the beach and listen to that, and it's wicked chill. I just have two honorable mentions because I wanted to get a little bit of metal in there because I know you like metal, Andy, and I just wanted to throw Blizzard of Oz and Extreme self-titled in there. These two are perfect. Love both of these records. Again, congratulations, Andy. Great job on the 200. Here's to another 200 for you. Take care. Cheers.